Okay, today I'm going to tell you a horror story that almost happened, but luckily we were able to avoid it. Years ago, I had a client buying a brand new home, and you know how that is. Normally, they want you to use their lender, their title company, their everything. And you may think, no big deal, they're giving me a discount for doing that, so it's all good. But here's the big deal. They're all owned by the same company. Their goal is to look out for that company, not you. So especially if you go in without a realtor, don't ever do that. But that's another video. So the buyer was adamant that they wanted to use me. And it was a really good thing that it worked out that way. They said, fine, we'll give you all the same concessions we were going to give if you used our lender, because, you know, you have a relationship and that's what you really want to do. Cool. But you are going to use our title company. Okay, cool. So in the end, when everything was almost done, and I was sending directions to that title company on how I needed my company name to be written on the documents, they had a problem with it. This isn't the company I'm with now. This was my previous company, but it doesn't matter. The point is, they didn't want to put the DBA on the documents like we needed it. And they were adamant that they could not do it. And we can't close in the wrong name, obviously. So at the last minute, we had to get an approval from my client to use another title company. This is 100% unheard of. When you're working with a new build, normally you're going to use their title company, whether you want to or not. But it was just, you know, it was a God thing. I'm not kidding, because thank God it worked out this way. So we go to the new title company. She does everything. She's my girl, used her a million times. She does everything super quick, not to delay us. We get everything going. And she's talking to the builder now. And she says, there's an outstanding tax bill on this property. How do you want to handle it? And they said, we're not handling it. And she said, what do you mean? And they said, it's a batch bill, you know, it covers several houses in the neighborhood. We'll pay it when we pay it, no big deal. We're not going to pay it, you know, on each individual house. And that's a big no-no. Basically what that means is if that builder doesn't pay the tax bill that's already outstanding on that property, that you're buying a home that already has a lien on it. And it has nothing to do with you, and it's not your responsibility to pay it. But here you are taking a property that their title company would have said all is good, and you would have never known that there was an outstanding bill on that property. Now, would they have paid it eventually? Probably. But companies do go out of business, and they do have financial hardships. And what happens if they didn't pay it, and that next year rolls around, and now you've got a past due tax bill? I was absolutely shocked. I'd never heard of anything like that, but I was so grateful for my title company stepping in and making, in the long run, they said, we can't close on this property unless you pay that tax bill. And they did. Their title company would not have done that.